Hey, thanks for watching this week's God is CEO Midweek Encourager. God is CEO is a movement that seeks to make Jesus Christ the cornerstone of our business and work life. The Midweek Encourager is meant to provide 3 weeks of encouragement, practical teaching, help to you as you seek to live out your faith in Jesus Christ every day during your work life. This week we're talking about how do we make accountability and responsibility in a God-honoring way. Last week we talked about living with a spirit of forgiveness in our workplaces, and some people can think that means, whatever goes, just be nice. The reality is this: we're supposed to live with a spirit of forgiveness, but we're also supposed to be people who promote accountability and responsibility. It says in the book of Romans chapter 14 verses 12 that each of us will have to give an account of ourselves to God. The Bible promotes responsibility and accountability, that we're responsible for our actions, we're accountable to God, but we're also accountable to one another. This applies in our work life as well. So today I just want to provide some encouragement, some practical thoughts. How can you help lead with responsibility and accountability in your organization? I want to share with you 3 things to think about this week in regards to responsibility and accountability. The first is this: we need wise communication when it comes to holding people accountable and promoting responsibility. It tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, this: there's one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. There's a variety of different places in the Proverbs where it talks about the power of our words and how bad words can bring a lot of pain to people, and you've probably experienced that at some point. If we're going to promote responsibility and accountability, we've got to be wise communicators, and one of the number 1 ways we can do that is really watch with the words that we use and the words we speak to others. And there's 3 things that I want to encourage you to think about when it comes to wise communication this week, and really in regards to having that tough conversation with an employee, a co-worker. The first is this: it's important that we be succinct with individuals. Sometimes you maybe see things about the sandwich method: give a praise, then a negative, and then end with a praise. The promise with the sandwich method is this: you may only remember the first thing or the last thing, therefore you don't really remember what you were trying to say. The individual is going to remember what they want to remember. So I would encourage you is be succinct with your coworkers, be succinct with those who are reporting to you. Get right to the point of what you're trying to say and say it directly, because most of us don't respond well to negative. Most of us don't respond well to accountability. Therefore, if that's what we're talking about, we've got to be very succinct with it. Second thing I want to encourage you to think about is this in wise communication: share the why. So if you're bringing discipline to somebody, if you're trying to promote some more responsibility, share why this is important. So for example, if you're talking to an employee about their behavior or their performance, connect it back to the mission of your organization. So for example, let's say the employee's having a really difficult time on the phone with clients. They're not being friendly. You've heard reports back that they're difficult to communicate with. Connect it back to your mission, that you exist to support clients. And if there's not good communication, you're not going to live out your mission of supporting your clients. And so always connect that performance or the behavior back to the mission of the organization. Wise communication is going to be succinct. Wise communication is going to share the why. And then the third thing to think about in regard to wise communication is this: ask the employee to give you a recap of what you've discussed. So if you've had a really hard conversation, especially about performance or behavior, ask them, say, hey, could you send me an email later today just recapping this conversation? I want to make sure we're on the same page. Here's why it's important to have them do that. You get to hear from them their understanding of it, rather than you just sharing your perspective again. So it provides an opportunity for you to say, I wasn't really saying that. Here's what I meant. So there's some practical things to think about when you're having accountability and responsibility conversations, trying to be wise communicators. Be succinct, share the why, and ask them to share a recap of what they have heard. So wise communication is really important when we talk about promoting responsibility and accountability. Our words have a lot of power. I hope that this has been helpful for you. It's just some practical things to think about in regards to promoting responsibility and accountability. Ultimately, communication is right at the heart of it. And wise communication is so important because when Jesus Christ is the cornerstone, we want to care for people. And we care for people by the way we communicate with them through wise and healthy communication. So I hope you have an absolutely great week, and I hope that each and every day you seek to make Jesus Christ the cornerstone of your business.